going to have Martha Niño, who's our keynote closing speaker. Martha's going to share her experience. We're talking about ERGs and the power of networking, not just within one ERG, Hispanic, but within the company's ERGs. And then how can we also leverage that externally as well to have a greater impact? So that's the focus that we're having today, and so grateful to have Angela take on, and you brought in another Angela for us. So please have a seat, and we'll get going.
Yeah, double trouble.
Double trouble.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for being here today. And hasn't today been amazing? Our speakers, the vision of Divina World Foundation. Hasn't this been a blessing to be here today?
Yes.
So my name is Angela Flores Robertson, born and raised in San Jose, educated in San Jose as well. I've been a Latina in tech for over 25 years, and I'm currently at Palo Alto Networks, where I'm a service delivery leader, and I'm also the president of Juntos, which is our Latinx employee network group. So it's an honor to be here with you all today and to be able to share the power of networking. Before we get into our panel, though, I want us to take a moment, a serious moment, and I wanted to bring up a topic. It's a heavy topic, but I want us to recognize it in this moment. I want us to say the name Jose Emiliano Zamora. This was a young man born and raised in the Santa Clara community. He was a 14-year-old freshman, and he was a bright, ambitious, and kind-hearted young man. He was Latino with indigenous roots. Last week, Jose committed suicide. He was had been in foster home since very young, and he was being bullied. And this caused him to go into a depression. The thing that I think really stood out to me about his story was his willingness to give to others, and also this bullying that he was dealing with every day was just too much for him to handle. So what does this teach us is that we have a lot more work to do in our community in regards to mental health for our young people, for us, and we owe it to young people like Jose Emiliano Zamora to continue this work of mental health. And when they interviewed his family, a couple of things too was that he felt like he wasn't enough. He felt like he didn't belong. So that's why all the work that you all do as community leaders is so important, because we need to help the next generation. There is a place for you here. You do belong. You are worth it. So I really want to dedicate this panel today to his memory, and let us continue that work of helping everybody in our community. So we have an amazing panel today. I want to start with Angela Gorospe. Angela has more than 17 years of global technical recruiting experience. She's built teams in agencies and with in-house organizations. She's been with companies, or has worked with companies like Facebook, Netflix, Google, General Electric, BMC, and she's currently at Palo Alto Networks, where she is actively recruiting. She's also, one of my favorite roles that she has is she's a dedicated member of the Juntos workforce, and she's a leader in that position. She's passionate about fostering diversity in tech, which we know is really important, that we get more people of color in tech. In her free time, she runs a food truck business called Hula Truck. So if you're familiar with the SAP Center or the Levi's Stadium, it's at these locations, so look for the Hula Truck at any of these locations. Angela takes great pride in her Mexican and Native American heritage, serving as a representative in the tech industry. The other thing that I want to add that's not on here, but I will add, is that as part of our Juntos group, we do a lot of community outreach speaking to young people. And one of our leaders in that area is Angela. She shares her journey into tech with these young people, and she has presented her story. And we've gotten so many feedback from young people that have really been motivated by her courage, her resilience, and her journey to make a place for herself in tech. So thank you, Angela, for being with us today.
Thank you.
And of course, our very own Ed Vargas.
Not Eddie Barrero, Ed Vargas.
Yeah. And one of my favorite people, Marta Niño, who you'll be hearing from her later as well. So Marta is a marketing executive at Adobe, and she also created the Marta Niño Foundation, which Palo Alto Networks is a supporter of the Marta Niño Foundation. We were the very first corporate book fairy. And so...
And look in your bag, you'll see her book. And she'll be available to sign and autograph those for you later.
I brought a Sharpie.
Yes, she brought a Sharpie.
Come prepared.
I call Marta the connector. And we're going to talk about the power of connection, the power of networking, because for many of us in our culture, networking is in our DNA, right? When we go to, sometimes people will say that as Latinos, we don't have social capital. But have you ever been to a quinceañera? Have you ever been to a family party, right? We all come together and we make this happen. And there's always food, there's always fun. We play loteria, we do all these amazing things. And it's a sense of community and of love and where people can feel safe. So what I want to do is I want to start talking about networking, because for many people, they may say, well, that's just a buzzword, right? But the power of networking can really create very powerful connections, lifelong connections that become friends, they become family. It's also a source of mentorship, and also networking can be a lifeline to many adventures. So let's talk about that for a moment. And so what I want to do is first, I want to talk to Angela Gorospe and talk about what inspired you to get involved with Juntos, the ENG, and what do those groups do to make a positive difference?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for having me today. It's a pleasure to be here with everybody. So I am very passionate about diversity hiring. I've been recruiting in tech for many years. So some of the companies that Angela mentioned was Facebook, Google, Netflix. When I started recruiting for those companies, it was 18 years ago. So think about it. Those companies are not the big conglomerates that they are today. And so I got a chance, I was given an opportunity through networking to get into an agency where I was able to get my foot into the door as a payroll specialist. And I went there every day, and nobody was gonna work harder than me. I went in there and I told, originally when I had interviewed, they had said, okay, this opportunity will be 3 months and then you can go full time. Well, the first day I got there, they said, oh no, just kidding, it'll be 2 weeks. But I said, nope, I'm gonna make my rent money and I'm gonna do a great job. And that's kind of how my path began in tech. Every day I went, the 3 months turned into a full-time opportunity. My boss was going on a maternity leave, and so she asked me to be the supervisor and step in for her. And said, but there's 3 other people that have been here longer than me, why me? She's like, no, you were the right gal for the job. So I went in, I said I was gonna do that role as best as I could, and when she came back, I saw an opportunity to get into recruiting. And at the agency called Tech Systems, they took in college students that had college degrees, and they taught them how to recruit. Well, at that time, I did not have a college degree, but I said, again, let me interview for the role, let me go and work hard, and I did. They saw the value in hard work and everything that I brought to the table, and that's how I launched my career. Through that, I worked there, I stayed with that company for 5 years, I built networking, and so I've gotten to where I am today because of that networking and the opportunity to meet with folks. So I'm very passionate about our Juntos ENG from that moment. I was given a chance, and now here is my chance to give back to people that through our ENG. And so when I got the opportunity and joined Palo Alto Networks, I joined as a contractor. And I said, hey, even though I'm a contractor, I still want to volunteer. And so I did. And eventually I became full-time. And then I had the opportunity to become a leader in the group. And through that, we've done a lot of things. We've done internal mobility, where we talk to our internal population to say, hey, look, these are the pathways that you can take to be able to advance your career. These are the things that you can do. So I volunteer my time to talk to folks who are they're scared to take that next level in their role because they think that they don't have the right qualifications. And I try to guide them to say, look, it's okay that you don't have a college degree, or do X, Y, Z to get a certification to be able to bridge that gap. So we take those avenues. I heard SHIP was mentioned earlier through our Juntos ENG. Yes, SHIP, I love that organization. SHIP, SACNAS, which is the Native American organization for engineers, our AVID program that we talk to. We really try to get out there to be able to say, look, we look like each other, we're familia. There is opportunity for us. And I try to tell folks in our tech world, companies want to be able to hire folks that look like us. There's a lot of programs in place where there's funding and opportunity. And so I'm kind of that career matchmaker. I'm at the front door of Palo Alto Networks as a recruiter, but also as Juntos. It's kind of a double up. And it's fun for me. I'm super passionate about it, and it's what drives me every day. So thank you.
And what I like, what Angela said, is that so we bring people of color into tech, we bring the Latinos into tech, but how do we keep them in tech, right? How do we keep them motivated? How do we make them feel like they belong? So one of the things that I really like is the internal mobility. So you're already in tech and you say, yes, I've made it, but have you really made it? And the way we do that is by challenging them and saying, where do you see yourself in the next year or two? What are you passionate about at Palo Alto Networks? How can we help you get there? Whether it's through your internal mobility, whether it's through the Juntos community. And this past year, we did a professional development summit for our Juntos members. No matter what their role was in Palo Alto, they could be part of this 3-day summit and figure out what are they passionate about, and how can we keep them in tech and keep them motivated. So thank you, Angela, for your great work. Appreciate that. Okay, Ed, now I know that you have quite a bit of history with AT&T and engaging with employee network groups externally as well as internally. So tell us a little bit about that partnership externally with other network groups.
Great question. So with the AT&T organization, I worked in San Ramon. It was Pacific Bell, SBC, AT&T. And as you grow by acquisition, the whole hierarchy, I was constantly getting, offers to, we have this great job for you in Atlanta. We have this great job for you in Dallas, but my family is here. So to me, the core element is family and finding that work-life balance. So, and then also align yourself with the business focus that you have. So for example, one initiative, the corporation, they were saying, we have a lot of absentee people, so let's call something Your Health Matters. And they were giving health information to employees. So I reached out to the women of AT&T, which was the largest ERG in our organization, and Hacemos at that time had over 11,000 members, 42 chapters around the country, and Puerto Rico and Mexico. And so what we did was we took that Mi Salud approach. So partnering with the women of AT&T, I went up the ladder at Kaiser, headquartered here in Oakland, and went up the ladder in Dallas with AT&T, and we were able to have a healthcare professional come to San Ramon quarterly, and we would say, we'd like to learn about stress, we'd like to learn about these other topics, diabetes for Hispanics, for example. But our focus wasn't just with the employee. If you have an abuelita, someone in your family, you're going to stay home to take care of them. So we would share this information from the healthcare professional in English and Spanish, upload it. So it wasn't just in San Ramon. We put it, and we were able to get the agreement to keep that information up for 30 days. So long before COVID, we recorded it, let people see it in other cities across 42 facilities across the country on that website, and then uploaded the tips in English and Spanish so that they could share with their families in all these areas. And the same thing with the women of AT&T. Again, from the perspective of helping our community, I helped start something called High Tech Day. And we would partner not only within our organization, but invite speakers that would be inspirational to young people. And so the business focus was that these young students would have the opportunity to know about how we operated. They would apply to jobs. And we even took that to another level, saying we talked to HR within this professional development program with the Hacemos organization. We had a leadership training program. We had 100 people each year, and we told the HR people in all these divisions, these are the people that want to move forward and have the skills now. So put them on your radar when you have job opportunities so that you can interview them. It's not a, well, we never heard, the pipeline's broken. Pipeline's not broken. You just need better communication to reach those people. So standing up for your organization, bringing in other people to inspire them to take it to the next level. That's a lot of what I did with AT&T.
I love that, Ed. Isn't that great? Building the Latino pipeline is very critical. So just to share a very short story, is about 3 years ago, I was offered a job at Palo Alto Networks, and I had imposter syndrome. I said, I'm not ready for the job. I go, do you know, like all the people who have this job have had years of tech experience, and they're all white men. And then there's me, this little Latina who, I didn't go to a fancy school or anything, so I turned the job down. So fast forward a few years later, there's another Latina who's a leader. She's in a room with managers, and they said, we have this job. And she said, I have somebody for you. And she said, Angela Flores Robertson. And they said, oh, we offered her that job several years ago. And she said, no. So she steps out of the room, she calls me, and she says, Mujer, what is going on? She said, you need to be ready to step into that door with conviction and pride and lean into the fear. And okay, maybe you may be the first Latina, but that's okay. Just because it hasn't been done doesn't mean you can't do it. And be that trailblazer for other Latinos in that position. So that was that was exactly what I needed to hear. So she was speaking a little loud, so I said, okay. Marta Niño. So Marta, as I mentioned, is the founder of the Marta Niño Foundation. So Marta, my question is for you, is why you launched the Marta Niño Foundation and how has leveraging that media platform and your strength in networking has helped to grow the Marta Niño Foundation?
I also work for the largest creative company in the world, Adobe, and I've been there almost 20 years. And I don't think that was a mistake at all. And I won't blow what I'm going to talk about later, but here's what I am going to talk about. About 5 years ago, I had an opportunity at Adobe to speak. And people who come from places like mine, and I'll talk about that too, don't speak. We've been told to be silent, to put our heads down, to not say a word and take it. And one day, I got the opportunity to speak on stage, something I always wanted to do. I'm on stage right now. But it was very scary. It was very scary. And I did it. And I was really proud of my company for letting me do that. And out of 700 stories, mine was selected. So I posted it on LinkedIn, the largest networking company in the world. And people are like, are you crazy posting that on LinkedIn? And I said, well, maybe I'm a little crazy. And then after that, I started posting more and more stories because that was only 14 minutes of my life. And I am 51 years old and I have a lot of life to talk about. And I started posting little stories that were 1,300 characters big because that was the amount of characters LinkedIn allowed me to do. And these were all stories of me as a child, of how I grew up and what I've gone through. And would you believe that people started going, me too, me too, me too? If somebody like me, who came from a background like what I'm going to talk to you about later, could be at those places, well, maybe they can too. You just said that there's only 2% of Latinos in tech. We're right here, we're right here, it seems. That's a horrible, horrible number when there's 40% of Latinos in some of these schools. They need to see us. We should be bringing them here. We should be going out there. So what I started doing was I started posting and saying, you can too, so that the companies started to see talent in a different way. I came at it this way. I didn't go to Yale, Stanford, Harvard. I've learned from those people. Thank you very much. But we can too. So my blueprint became something I was super proud of and something that once caused me shame. I'm super excited to talk about with children. And so all of these little stories that I started posting on LinkedIn, all of a sudden I had enough content to write a little book. Now, the sad part is I didn't have enough money because I was self-funding this because I was going through a divorce. And I'm like, I can only afford whatever it was per book. Okay, that's what it's going to be. And would you believe that it was the perfect amount of pages for middle school and K through 12 to take it into their schools? So I had a party because that's what we do. I launched it, and I'm like, great. And then my MC was a teacher. I think you were there. Mm-hmm. And I gave her the first set of books. Somebody whispered into my ear and said, I'd like to donate a set of books to a school too. And I'm like, ding, 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 ding. We have a book fairy program. And so that's how the Martha Niño Foundation got started. I have no idea how to do a foundation, so I'm open to any of your guys' brains, money, all of it, bring it our way. Collaboration, but we have given 7,000 books away to students through book fairy programs, through Palo Alto networks. El Paso, Texas just called me for an order of 1,000. Kids need to see and hear people in these different pathways so that they can believe they can too. And we can't leave out the details. I'll talk about it a little later. That's how the Martha Niño Foundation got started, and I hope it's gonna get huge. Watch.
Yes.
Yeah.
And where's the guy from the club? I need you to be in my next book, because they need to hear that pathway too.
I also want to talk real quick about, so Marta, not only does she inspire young people by her journey, but when I met Marta and I shared with her some of my story, I said to her, I go, culturally, we don't talk about our stories because, we're humble people. And she said, Angela, you have to share your story. So because of Marta's encouragement, I'm an author in the Latinas 100 anthology. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Thank you for that support. So again, it's important through ENGs, through networking, for young people, especially for them to see people like us that work in these tech places and so in these tech companies. So the power of networking is very strong. So I encourage you to continue to do that through LinkedIn, and not just for numbers, but build relationships. Find out, set up cafecitos with people, talk about what inspired them, what motivated them, what were some of their challenges. Right? I one time had somebody who I met on LinkedIn who I knew over the years. And when I came to Palo Alto Networks, they were looking for a speaker. So I called him. I said, hey, would love to have you as a speaker. He said, Angela, do you know that you only call me when you need something? And it was like a wake-up call, right? Build those relationships and cultivate and nurture those like you would a plant or a flower. They can be very powerful and helping us in our career, professionally, personally. So we thank you today for being with us, where we talk about the power of networking. And I don't think we have any time for questions, so.
We got to move on.
Yes.
So thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Please have Martha autograph your book, okay?
Yes.
She's amazing.
Thank you.